Hello everyone, welcome to this month's Lunch and Learn. I'm just going to wait a few more minutes while everyone enters the room. Thank you for joining us. Just bear with us for a couple more minutes. I hope you are all well. Welcome to those joining us live and those watching it on record or replay. You are all very welcome. Okay, just give it a couple more moments and then we will crack on. Okay, I am going to make a start. Thank you to everybody for joining us today. So we have got a lot to cover. It is going to be all about how to write a marketing plan to grow your business profitably. So first of all, why are you here? That's what we're going to look at. Then, why am I here? And then I'm going to give you 5 takeaways today, which is a lot to cover. So forgive me for speaking if I speak too fast, but don't worry, you will get a recording afterwards. So hopefully if you do miss anything, you can watch it on repeat. And then as a thank you for staying all the way to the end, I am going to give you a discount code for those of you who really want to take action and actually get involved with the Marketing Success Program. Okay, so without further ado, I am thinking that you're probably here because you want to get better results from your marketing. Perhaps you want a marketing system, you want to attract more clients, you want to get better results from your existing marketing. So basically that you want a plan, you want growth. So perhaps you could tell us in the chat why you are here, if it's something different to what I've suggested there. Just let me know, because the more that I know about why you're here, I can sort of tailor what I say a little bit as we go. If that is the case, indeed, you are in the right place. And I have used this quote before, and I know there are some people that have been on my live lessons before. Hello, Julian. I know you have certainly. I did use this one last time, but I just love it because there is such a big difference between learning and taking action. So I'm going to teach you all sorts of things today about how to write a marketing plan. But if you actually implement it, that is what is going to give you the better results. David and Vicky, yes, exactly. Throwing spaghetti at the walls, I've heard that one. In fact, it's in one of my social media posts, I think. By implementing a plan, this helps you actually untangle all of that spaghetti and helps you to get better results. Fantastic. Okay, let's crack on. Now, if you have been here before, and thank you again to people that come back, that makes me super happy. I love to get you involved. I think it makes it more fun for you, a bit more interactive, you know. So what I thought we would do is a little poll just to see whether or not you're paying attention. So how about this one? Which one of these following statements is true? Only one of them is true. Hopefully you can see that poll. Have a little go at that poll, which you should be able to see in the chat box. Can you see that? Tell me if you can see the chat. I don't know whether you can see the poll. This is only for fun, really, but it was fascinating. I only discovered this recently because I just about to get my new certificate. There is, in fact, only 3,000 chartered marketers in the UK. You know, I'm not the only one. Thank you for whoever put that. But there are only 3,000, and I am very proud to be one of them. I'm also a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Marketing, and that just means that I do continuing professional development all of the time. So not only am I qualified and experienced, it just means that I keep up to date. And the reason I tell you that is just simply so that you know that you are safe in my hands. So my goal for you is to give you a marketing planning framework today that you can implement in your own business that will help you to grow profitably. So from what I've seen in the chat, it does sound like that is the sort of thing that you are looking for. If you've got anything specific that you want to know, feel free to pop it into the Q&A. Hayley is there helping me in the chat. Say hello to Hayley. She will keep things moving in the chat and take a note of any questions. Okay, right. I mentioned you will get a bonus at the end. So if you want to sign up to the Marketing Success Program, as a little thank you for staying, I will give you that at the end. But right now, we are going to crack on with all of these takeaways. So I hope you are ready. Here we go. This is what we're going to cover. First of all, what marketing is, and then I'm going to show you the planning process framework that we use. Then I'm going to talk about marketing research and customer research, how essential it is that you don't miss this out. Then where do you want to be? Then I'm going to talk about how you're going to be able to get there, and then also the marketing mix and the next steps and how you can use that to create your first campaign. Okay. So the first one was just a practice. So this one is going to be the real one, the real first one. So first of all, we're going to ask you the question. Now, some of you might think, you know, I don't know, but what do you think marketing is? Please have a little look at the poll and have a little guess, or an educated guess, or if you know, put the answer in and tell me what is marketing. Tell me when you've all had a go. Everybody, oh my gosh. We have got some very clever people. While you are just finishing off, I'm going to tell you what marketing isn't. Marketing isn't advertising. Marketing isn't social media. What marketing is, according to the Chartered Institute of Marketing, which, as I mentioned, I am obviously a member of, marketing is a management process. So the majority of you did put process, so well done. I'm not saying it isn't all of these other things. It is, of course, but ultimately, and I think this is what lots of people forget about marketing, it is a process. And the three words that I always pull out of here is process, customers, and profitability. And they're the three things that I would really encourage you to keep in mind whenever you're thinking about marketing, because those three things are what is going to help lead you to a successful marketing plan and indeed successful growth in your business. So the reason that you need to do some marketing planning is explained by this. Now, I'm not going to do the quiz again for this. I've done it before in previous live lessons. But if I say to you, could you please give me directions to find the treasure on this treasure map? Just think to yourself, would you give me directions to find the treasure? X marks the spot. Could you give me directions to find the treasure? And you might be thinking, oh, yeah, I probably could, yeah. Or you're thinking, oh, I don't know. And the answer is you probably couldn't, because you don't know where you're coming from. You need to know where you are now in order to give directions to where you want to be. And that's what you need to think of when you're thinking about marketing planning. And indeed, think about marketing planning as your route map to success. So this is the marketing planning framework and the process that I use it in my business, and I've used it for client businesses that I've worked with for many, many years. It's based on a model by P.R. Smith. And as you can see across the top, the where are we now element, which is O1 on here, is actually twice as big as all the rest. And that's why I said right at the very beginning, you mustn't miss this bit out. It's really, really important, because going back to this slide, how can you possibly say how to get to where you want to be if you don't know where you're starting from? So that is the first crucial element of a successful marketing planning process, and it is what a lot of people miss out. And if you do this, you will automatically straight away be streets ahead of your competition. So I am going to walk you through now a lot of the key things that I suggest that you do in order to understand your current position. Okay, here we go. The first takeaway now within the where are we now element, so we've got the process, so takeaway number 2 now is going to be where are we now? Do a customer survey. There are 2 types, okay? The ongoing type is the regular feedback that you get in your business, ongoing. So it might be after every transaction, you might have it regularly at the bottom of your email. So it's that constant feedback, how are you doing? But the second type, which I would encourage you to do perhaps annually, is a much more in-depth one, where you're asking a lot more questions, maybe more qualitative questions, not just quantitative, where you're really understanding why people buy from you, what do they want, what benefits do they seek, as well as the general customer feedback ones. It's absolutely essential that you fully understand your ideal customers and why they buy from you. What you want to do is really profile your ideal customers and use them as a blueprint to find more. That's what I teach about in the course. It's about using your existing customers as a blueprint to find more. And really, there's a free tool, the SurveyMonkey tool. I think it's changing its name, but if you Google SurveyMonkey, it will come up, and you can ask 10 questions on there, build it for free. You can pay some money and get them a little bit more complex, but just to start you off, the free version is fine. But please do survey your customers and find out as much about them as you can. And then record it within your marketing planning system. I've just popped that there because to remind me to tell you that within the Marketing Success Program, we've got templates for all of this, which you can download and fill in. Okay, so customers, they're at the heart of all of your great marketing. Thank you, Hayley. Yes, Momentive, that's what SurveyMonkey is rebranding to. That's going to be their new name. Okay, so you've looked at your customers, absolutely essential, center to all fabulous marketing. Now we are going to look externally from your business. And really, one of the acronyms that we use in marketing, there are way too many, I know, I'm sorry, but we call it the PESTLE analysis. So you're not operating in a vacuum, and it's important to remember this. Look outside of your business and just think, what out there is affecting me and how is it affecting me? So it's looking at what's happening on the political spectrum, what's the economy doing, socially what's happening. You know, there are many trends that happen, and some might have a positive effect on your business and some might have a negative effect. Technology, keep a really sharp eye on what's happening. Is there a new technology that's coming in that could actually wipe out your business? Is there something coming in that you need to actually invest in, or you're going to be left behind? It's really essential. There are so many stories out there where businesses have been wiped out because they didn't keep abreast of technology. You need to ensure that you know what is going on. Don't let anything surprise you. So make sure you build into your planning process every month some marketing scanning, external analysis scanning, but certainly annually make sure you properly do a deep dive into this entire PESTLE analysis. And then the E and the L, environmental, that's just of course anything that we can do that is about sustainability. What can we do to make sure that we're looking after the environment, and how can we perhaps use that to enhance our marketing as well as looking after the environment? So we don't want to be greenwashing, which is where we're using we're talking about doing things for the environment, but not really. It's important that we're doing it properly. But just bear in mind that that's the important thing to analyse, to make sure that you're utilising and being aware of. And then, of course, legislation. Sometimes legislation can make or break your organisation as well. So keep your eye on anything that's happening that way. For instance, in my business, all of the GDPR and all of the legislation around data privacy had a massive effect on direct marketing. So if some legislation is changing in your industry, then keep your eye on it, because of course can affect your business, and it can give you opportunities as well as threats, which is important. And again, there are templates to do with all of those elements within the program. Now, we talked about you're not operating in a vacuum. So as well as all those fully external elements, there are also your competitors, and it's important to understand as much as you can about your competitors for at least two reasons. One is your customers and potential customers are very likely to be doing research into your competitors. So I believe it's important that you know more about your competitors than your potential customers do. I think it's more important that you know more about your competitors than they do about you. And also, we'll talk about this later, but when we're talking about your positioning and what messaging you're putting out in the marketplace, you need to know what your competitors are saying so you can see where you're going to fit into the marketplace. So just understand also what they're doing well, what they're doing badly. So it's not necessarily to copy them, but just understand as much as you can about your competitors, because it all builds up into that entire landscape that your business is operating in. Too often we can be so insular, so it's just really important to be aware of everything that is happening out there. Okay, but then it is time to get insular. And here we use the 5 M's marketing tool. So this is interesting. And again, people will look at this and think, is Joanne talking about a marketing plan? I wasn't expecting all of this. Why is she asking me to look at machinery, for instance? But this all builds up the picture of your organization. So the reason this is in here is, for example, if you can imagine back when marketing planning was first developed, everybody was sort of operating in silos. And if the sales and marketing people suddenly decided that they were going to sell this particular widget off this particular production line, but then actually they didn't speak to the people in the factory, and they said, well, that production line isn't operating very well, so why are you spending money marketing that? Then you can understand why it's important to look at all elements of your business. So I know for smaller and medium-sized businesses, that's less likely to be the case. Probably if you're a business owner, or if it's a smaller business, you kind of have already got a feel for that kind of thing. However, you'll be surprised if you actually sit down and look at these 5 M's and think to yourself, certainly I think one of the most important things is, which is your most profitable product or service, depending obviously on your business. And maybe that should be the one that you make your next marketing campaign about. You should be looking at, is your machinery and your equipment as efficient and up to date as it should be? Have you got the right people in place? In terms of supply chain, are you very reliant on particular suppliers? Do you need to perhaps have a backup plan or something like that? Cash flow, all of those sort of things. Actually understanding internally where your strengths and weaknesses are is also important in determining what you're going to set as your marketing objectives. So let me know in the chat if you've got any questions so far. I've put a spreadsheet on the screen. I'm sorry. I know we're marketing, and I've put the spreadsheet on the screen, but this is one that I have taken directly out of the Marketing Success Program, because I did want to show you this. Everybody should know where their break-even point is, and so I wanted you guys to know this as well, because once you've understood where your break-even point is, it helps you to understand how much you can spend on your marketing, and how much you can spend on your campaigns. It's just really important that you understand your numbers and how they all work together. When I was training to do my marketing, there was a whole accountancy module for a whole year, and it's like, why? And this is why. We're not just painting pretty pictures and science, it's a business. Marketing is a really important business tool, and so what you need to understand is you've got your regular fixed cost, then you've got your cost of sales, and that's where your break-even point comes in. So you always need to make sure that you're covering that cost every month. Okay, once you've done all of that analysis, so we're still on number 1 in that marketing planning process. Once you've done all of that analysis, a fantastic way to actually understand it and to turn that pile of information into some useful marketing intelligence is to use a SWOT analysis. So that's your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So everything internally will either be a strength or a weakness, and everything externally will either be an opportunity or a threat. Having said that, sometimes they could be both, and obviously you want to work out how you can actually mitigate, transfer one to the other, that sort of thing. So use creating the SWOT almost as an action plan and a to-do list in itself. Okay, that is the to-do list from the first part of the marketing planning process. So you might want to make a note of that. I suggest you do. Customer survey, create one ongoing and do one in-depth one for your business. Understand why people buy from you. What benefits do they seek? Do a competitor analysis. Do your external analysis. Do your internal analysis. And then turn it all into some useful intelligence by doing a SWOT. Okay, I hope all of that makes sense. Any questions, pop it in the chat for Hayley, because now we are going to move on to number 2 of the marketing planning process, which is where do you want to be? And this is all about setting your objectives. Now, I'm not going to speak hugely about setting objectives, except to say put numbers on them and make them realistic and put numbers on them. So those numbers should be something that you can measure, and they should definitely include a deadline. So this will be related to that work that you've done before. Everything you've done already now in that audit that we've just done will lead on to what's going to follow. If you don't do that audit, everything that you're doing now is going to be guesswork and assumptions. So please take the time to do that research. Okay, then you know where you are now. This is where you want to be. So set those measurable goals. And if you've got a business plan, who's got a business plan? Put in the chat, yes or no. Have you got a business plan? If you've got a business plan, your marketing plan is a tool to help you to achieve your business plan. Okay. Right. I've been talking for long enough. It's time for you to have a go. Just in case you were falling asleep, I thought we would have a go at you telling me what is strategy. Have a go at what is, well, I should have put there really, what is marketing strategy? Tell me in the poll, what is marketing strategy? Have a go. What do you think is marketing strategy? I'm going to leave that on the screen for a moment while you all have a go. Just have a sip of my drink while you do your poll. Oh, it's quite a mixed bag. It's good that it doesn't scare very many people. That's good. So as things stand at the moment, we're saying 23% 21, 23% planning, 25% goal setting, 37% say segment, target and positioning. Now, I know a few people on the call have been in my previous live lessons, so I feel like that is good news. I am going to tell you what marketing strategy is, which is down here at number 3 on the process. Marketing strategy is indeed segment, target, and positioning. That's what we need to do with our market. Now, I go into huge detail about this in the program, and I can't obviously go into huge detail today because we've got a limited amount of time, but I am going to explain it to you now. Let me show you on the next slide what I mean. So the first job that you've got to do is divide your market up into smaller segments. So if I said to you, who is your ideal target market? The worst thing that you can say to me is, well, anyone can buy my product or service. Now, be honest, were you just thinking a moment ago, well, anyone could buy my product or service? And if you did, don't worry, you weren't on your own, because I have had in the past a lot of businesses saying that. But if you learn one thing today, let this be it. If you think that everyone can buy your product and service, and I'm not saying that they can't, but you could make massive improvements to your marketing by actually focusing on your ideal clients instead of everybody. Because as soon as you start actually speaking specifically to a target segment, a specific group, they will notice your messages a lot more, and I'll explain that in a moment. So segment your market into your different customer groups. So depending whether you're business to business or business to consumer, you might do it by age, by sex, by how affluent they are, or if it's by industry type or size of organization. You can slice and dice in every potential different way thinkable these days. So divide your audience up into all the different potential segments of people that might want to buy. And then targeting is about, right, okay, let's choose which of these segments is going to be the best fit for our business. So if you're a small business owner like I am, and I know quite a lot of small business owners come onto these live lessons, we are lucky. We can choose to work with people we like to work with. So who do you like to work with? Who are quite easy to actually talk to, communicate with? Who's got the money to spend on your product or service? So who's a good match for you? Whose needs can you really service? Who can you help? I love asking that question. Who can you help? That is a brilliant first start for your marketing messages, by the way. Who can you help? So once you've identified out of all those different segments who you can help, that's who you're going to target. That's your target market. See, well, this is how you work out your marketing strategy. The next step of your marketing strategy is all about positioning. Now, positioning is a little more complicated to explain, certainly on a short lesson like this, but it's about how your target market feels about you in their hearts and minds, and what impression they get when they hear the name of your company or your brand. So it's the difference between when you hear Waitrose and when you hear Aldi. They're both supermarkets, but they've got a very different positioning in the marketplace, haven't they? That you feel quite differently about them. They use the entire marketing mix, which I'll mention in a minute, to give you a very different impression of them. It's a very different positioning. So you need to be really clear about what you want your positioning to be. Are you cheap and cheerful? Are you expensive? Yes, David, branding is one way that you can use. Well, branding encompasses really what your positioning is. It's a way of demonstrating that. So positioning, yes, I've popped this on here. Obviously, there's lots of downloads in the program about this. I've just put this one here to remind me to say the other thing you can do, you can create a positioning grid if you want to. And earlier we talked about your competitors. What you can do on your positioning grid, for example, you can do whatever axes you want. But if you did price and quality, that's quite a common one. You could plot where you are and you can plot where your competitors are, and you can see if there's any gaps in the market, and just think, you could do that by product, by company, depending what suits you. And if there's a gap there in the market, you can think, oh, look, there's a bit of an opportunity there, that see whether there's a customer need for it, of course, but it's just quite a useful tool that you might want to actually take advantage of. Now, before you start using your marketing mix and your branding, something that I just touched on a moment ago, it's really important that you understand who you're talking to. We've talked about your ideal target market, but what I want to do is encourage you to hone down on an individual. Otherwise, they won't notice you. They'll just be too busy. So what I suggest you do is have a really clear idea of your ideal client. So it's about building an avatar, we call it, but a profile really. So you know everything you could possibly know about that person. Build up what they're likely to have for breakfast, where they shop, do they go to the pub, do they have children, how old are they, what do they worry about at night. So you've got this absolutely clear picture of your ideal client avatar. And then when you're doing your marketing, in your mind's eye, talk to that person, give your client avatar a name. And then when you're doing your marketing, do it as if you're talking to that person. When you're making decisions in your business, make the decisions and think, well, what would my client avatar think about that? It's such a powerful way of helping you when you're writing your marketing messages, to have that person or people in mind. You can have more than one target market, but I would encourage you to start with one, your main one, and get that going, because it can get complicated when you've got different profiles with different marketing messages. Okay, so your next to-do list, please write this down, is break down your potential market into all the different segments, all the different potential ones, and choose which segments you're going to target, and then build your ideal client avatar. And then finally, we're going to use the marketing mix to help build that positioning that we talked about earlier. Now, finally, sort of well into half an hour through, I'm actually going to talk about promotion, which is what so many people think of as marketing. So your tactics, your 7 marketing Ps, your marketing mix, these are the tools that you have got at your disposal in order to communicate what it is you want your customers, your potential customers, to feel about your business and your brand. I did do a previous live lesson all about this, which if you email me at admin@ftgconsulting.co.uk, I can send to you, or all the recordings are also in the Marketing Success Program, but I have got a whole live lesson about this. Okay, I am going to touch on it very briefly though. In terms of, price is not just how much you sell your product or service for, although that is crucial. Also bear in mind what I mentioned earlier in terms of your break-even point, but you can use price very strategically. You can do promotions, but if you're cheap, people tend to, certainly in the UK, think you're a poorer quality. There are all sorts of different elements to price you might do. For example, the loss leader pricing, where you have a cheaper price product, which you might even be selling at a loss in order to then build a bit of trust and then sell your actual more expensive product later. For example, there's a lot you can do with price. Place is actually distribution. It's about how you get your product or service to market. So if you're a retail store, could you go online? If you're a service business, could you create an online course, for example? Could you franchise the business? Could you use resellers? So it's all about how do you get to market. your product is obviously, have you got the correct product, new product development, but it could be, for example, if you have got quite a complex product, for example, you might want to go for a less frills product, so that you could actually expand your market that way by having a less frills product, so you could actually attract people with a smaller budget. So it's how you could use the product that way. And then people, process, and physical evidence. These three are more related to service businesses. So people, obviously, there's a lot to do with customer service and how well they understand the values of your business and how well they communicate it. Physical evidence is the same, really, in terms of how well that demonstrates your brand. So if you're supposed to be a quality brand, make sure that all your invoices look quality, or your shop floor represents nice and clean and effective. And then process. Although this was originally added to the 4 marketing Ps, these 3 were added to represent the service businesses. I think process is essential for all businesses. I summarize this with, how easy is it for people to buy from you? I think this could be another crucial one that you could take away and have a look at and implement straight away. How easy is it for people to buy from you? Is there anything in your customer journey that is a little bit complicated or a little bit clunky, or they have to go here, there, and everywhere, or read through reams of paper, or queue at a really long till in a corner, whatever it might be? Is there any way you could make it easier for people to buy from you? Because the easier it is for people to buy from you, the more likely they are to do it. So that's really what I'm talking about with process. Okay, so what you then need to do is blend all of these 7 elements of the marketing mix together. So they need to be consistent and coherent. You don't want a cheap price and a really expensive looking product, because that would jar with people, and people need to know, like, and trust you in order to buy from you. And if there's anything there that doesn't quite gel, they don't quite trust you, they're less likely to buy. So make sure you've got all of these elements blended together into this consistent and coherent message that is targeted specifically at your target market and other stakeholders. And make sure that all of your marketing communications have got a clear call to action. Now, I am going to talk briefly about campaign. Now, I'm suggesting that you should have 9 marketing pillars. These are all based on different elements of understanding of your client. So I can't go through all of them today on this live lesson. They're in the program, but I'm just going to touch on a couple of things for you, because I want to make sure you've got plenty of value whilst kind of respecting the people in the program. One thing I want to say is, you should have regular campaigns that ebb and flow. So I would suggest maybe monthly, or you could, it depends on your business. It depends on your business. In mine, I do monthly. So for instance, every single month I have one of these live lessons. So my campaigns tend to flow very much around the live lesson, but it depends what works for your business. You might want to do weekly, you might want to do quarterly, but make sure they ebb and flow around a specific theme that's relevant to your business, more essentially relevant to your target customer and how you can help them. Okay, but what I have done here for you is, this is one of the templates that you can download within the program, and I wanted to share this one with you today because, again, I'm hoping this is something where you can make quite an easy win. I have shared this well, I've shared this information before. I don't think I've shared this actual template itself before, but the example that I'm going to talk about is the one that I use when I'm explaining the 5 stages of awareness. I like to explain this to people that are learning or refreshing about marketing, because many people forget this bit, and there's quite a lot of opportunities at the top of the funnel that you could be missing out on that could really help you to grow your business. So I'm talking about an itch. Okay. So if somebody's got an itch, but they don't know what's causing it, that's where you need to be thinking about. So imagine if your product that you're selling is mosquito cream, and you're talking about the fact that your mosquito cream is it goes on the easiest, it absorbs really well, it doesn't stain your clothes, and it's got a really handy little pot that it's kept in, for instance. These are some nice features, some nice benefits. It's going to take the sting away and make you feel better straight away and get on with your day. That's a benefit. That's all lovely. And they would all be really useful points to make in stages 3 and 4. We're talking about benefits. We're talking about how it can help solve the problem. However, if I don't know what's causing my itch, I just know that I've got an itch. I don't know whether, I've got a rash, if I've been stung by a wasp, or if, it could be just something rubbing on my clothes. I don't know. So if I don't know that I've been stung by, that I've been bitten by a mosquito, anything that I see advertising mosquito cream is going to go straight over my head. I'm not going to know. So this is where you could actually do some marketing for top of the funnel. People that don't know they need your solution yet, you can educate them and bring them down into your funnel and teach them that actually what they've got, what is causing their itch, what is causing their problem. So whatever that problem might be for them. So in my case, the problem might be that they need more business. The fact that they need more business, ultimately, people might think they've got a problem with sales, but I often find people think they've got a problem with sales, but actually the problem is they haven't got a marketing plan. But they don't know they need a marketing plan. They might think they've got a problem with sales. So I often talk about, do you want to grow your business? But really, they need a marketing plan, and that's what I'm doing. I'm actually marketing to people who are unaware of what they need yet. So have a think about your business, and then these blue areas are actually where you want to be filling in. All present a problem with which they'll identify. So what problem have your potential clients got? And then what triggers awareness, and how can you trigger the awareness? And then at each stage, what could you be communicating to move them further along these 5 stages of awareness? And then how can you actually convert them into customers, which is happening at stage 4. And then when they're advocates, hopefully they'll buy and refer you to others. So that's actually one of the templates that you get from within the marketing program. But hopefully that's been on the screen long enough for you to perhaps take a photograph and use that one. Okay, so your to-do list is build your campaigns, create a very clear action plan designed to meet your measurable objectives. See, I put here, use KPIs. I knew I'd forget to tell you this. So I talked about measurable objectives. What I wanted to say as well is, and again, so I keep talking about the program, but in the program I explain it a lot more, but once you've got an objective, it's really good if you break that down. KPI stands for key performance indicators. It's very much more used in the corporate world, but I found it quite useful for SMEs, just even for my own business. So if you know that you want to get so many sales, how many inquiries do you need to get? And if you need to get that many inquiries, how many emails do you need to send out, for example? So it's just to make sure that you keep measuring everything within your business and using those key performance indicators to make sure everything is on track, and keep measuring. Okay. So now, has anybody said any of these things in the past? Marketing doesn't work, I don't know what to post on social media, or throwing spaghetti at the wall, that's what marketing feels like, or you never get around to it. That's quite a common one. If anybody has said any of these things in the past, then this is definitely going to be something that is going to help you a lot. If you would like this exact marketing roadmap, then I'm going to give you 25% off, which is basically £250 off. All you literally need to do, I'm going to just put this in here for you, is add the code FTG thank you into the checkout box when you go to the Marketing Success Program checkout. this is an overview of what you get within the program, but really it's literally everything we've been through today and more, and every single module has got the templates that I've talked about, and each template's got little bite-sized videos of me explaining how to fill it in, how it all works together. And as well as all of those different modules with the templates, there's just some more of the templates there that you can see. I put there the value, that's £5,000. That the reason that's the value is because that's how much it is if you want me to write it for you. You also get a time management planner, get access to a private members Facebook group, so you get support all the time. You can email me anytime. Any new material, as I mentioned, gets added. But very importantly, because I'm so keen, A, that you can take advantage of it, and B, that you feel really, really comfortable to buy it, is that I give you a 60-day, 100% money back guarantee. So if you don't think it's helped you to grow your business, then let me know and you can have your money back. Or if you want some accountability or a bit more extra support from me, you can have that as well. That's just another option. You can choose at checkout, you don't need to. So if you want to take advantage of it, you can have £250 off. You can pay in one go, or you can pay in 3 easy installments. So I don't charge any extra for paying in installments. So I don't think that's fair. We're all small businesses and cash flow is king, isn't it? So you're very welcome to use the easy pay option. There's no extra charge for that, because I would just love to help as many people as possible. Just based on the people that I've helped so far, I've noticed that it's really helpful for business owners wanting to grow. I've been really chuffed that other marketers have used it as a refresh, or just people that have wanted to give their marketing a boost. New marketeers, like entry-level marketeers, it's been great. Often the bosses have bought it for apprentices and things, but also lots of coaches and VAs have bought it because, virtual assistants, because they've wanted to support their clients. As they bought it, they've enrolled, they've had a look, they want to, they've registered as associates, because you can also register as an associate and share it with your clients. I do pay associates 20% for introducing it to others as well. So my goal for you on this live lesson was to give you a marketing planning framework that you can implement in your own business that will help you to grow profitably. I do hope you feel that you have been given that marketing planning framework. If there is anything else you would like to know, please ask in the chat. I've given you the framework, but you do need to take action. Hopefully you wrote down all of those to-do lists that I gave you. If you do want to get involved with the program, then simply just sign up. You get immediate access straight away. It's all online, on demand, 100% money back guarantee. But if you've got any questions right now, we have got 10 minutes left for Q&A. If anybody wants to pop any questions in the chat, please do so. Otherwise, just let's take some action and let's get growing, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you're on the recording or live. The discount code lasts for 24 hours from when you've watched the webinar. I do hope you found it useful. I do wish you all every success. And I can't see any questions, but if you think of any afterwards, then please, as I say, just email admin@ftgconsulting.co.uk. I will stay live for just a moment in case there's any questions, but as I say, thank you very much, and I will hopefully see some more of you again in the next live lesson. Oh, Haley says I've got one question. Let's have a little look in the Q&A. A humanitarian organisation, would this change the approach you take? I don't think so. I think ultimately, I can't say that I'm an expert in humanitarian, Holly, but I think ultimately it's understanding the benefits that people will get from working with you. So not only the benefits of of the people that you help, but also the benefits that the people that you're trying to attract will get, and how that will perhaps make them feel. I think humanitarian is really key in terms of people buy from people. So it's really understanding the motivations of what encourages people to help you. But I think having the plan, doing the research, what else could people invest in or spend the money on, and understanding all of those motivations would be the same, whether it's humanitarian or for profit, Holly, I would think. But as I say, I haven't done work in that area specifically, so that is probably as much as I could say on that. I hope that helps a little, though. Thank you very much to everybody else, and I will see you very soon. Wishing you every success. Bye.